सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। A very happy and blessed Shri Krishna Janmashtami to one and all. May He protect us, may He provide for us, protect us from ourselves and provide for nothing but the highest, the self. May He guide us through and through. Kataksha kirana chanta naman mohabdhaye namaha anantananda krishnaya jagan mangalamurtaye. We are in the 6th shloka. ābhārūpasya viśvasya bhānaṃ bhāsaṃnidhervinā kadācinnāvakalpeta cāhaṃ tena sarvagaḥ. After having seen the paricheda, the limitation of time, where we spoke about Atma Chaitanya and Brahma Tattva are eternal principle, and the oneness was shown and established. Now, the next component, it is like the other side of the same coin, is the space. Now, the question raised, or the doubt that can be raised is, the Upanishads say that Brahma Tattva is all pervasive. This is a very subtle and one of the most difficult concepts to comprehend, understand and experience. So we visualize in our own capacity what that all pervasiveness means. So Atma Chaitanya is also all pervasive. That is where the difficulty comes about. Brahma Tattva, all pervasive, seems to be a little easier concept to comprehend. But then, the Atma Chaitanya is all pervasive. We stumble and fall at every step. The problem occurs because though we hear that I am that Chaitanya Tattva, I still perceive myself as localized. Who are you? What are you? I am that which is sitting here in front of you, a mass of about 80 kilos. Flesh and blood, this is what I am. A very, very localized experience. And from that standpoint, to try perceive anything subtler than becomes very, very difficult. Almost sounds impossible. How can I, this which is this limited, be all pervasive? There are various methods to see that. There are various methods to prove that. One of that which we have already spoken can be extended here also. That this entire creation is a projected reality. And that projected reality is on that conscious principle, supported by it. This is where the example or the experience of ours in the dream state became clear. So what do we do in that state of a dream? Time, space, people, things, every kind of environment, everything seems to be very real, though I know it is merely a projection. Even when we wake up, we say, I was in the dream. Is that a real statement? Because that is our experience. At that point when I had gone through that particular dream, I was indeed a part of that dream. But just because I experienced it that way, when we analyze it, do we know, do we see that it is that I was in the dream or the dream was in me? Am I getting across? We make that flaw still persists when we say that I was in the dream. So the next question to be asked is, Acha, whose dream was it? My dream? See, when you are at your home, you say, I was at my home. When I say I was at the ashram, it is like somebody's somewhere else where I was. When you talk about, when somebody calls you, their first question is to inquire, where are you? You feel like saying, what, you're my mother or what? To keep inquiring, where am I? What do you want? If your mood is not that great. No, I didn't want to disturb. Are you? I am here in my house. So that which is mine. When I say I was in the dream, it almost feels like someone else's dream. Somewhere else. It was in me alone. Isn't it? But what happens because of that ignorance or avidya that it is projected from? That I also become an integral part of that dream and enact whatever part that it is being projected as. Therefore, I feel I was in the dream. Though I was in the dream, that indeed was the experience, but beyond that experience, there is the reality or the truth. And what is the truth? That I, in the dream and the dream, everything of it is purely in me. Without me, there is no dream. Without me, that conscious principle, I am, onto which this is projected. So when that same thing is extended to this Jagrad Avastha, when I see this entire prapancha, where is this? It is a projection. Projection unto what? Projection unto that reality or that Brahma Satta. And that Brahma Satta is me, is being expounded upon in the last 4 shlokas, excluding the first invocation. So when I say that this entire prapancha is projected unto that Brahma Tattva, which is my own nature, is it not inclusive of all the time, space, environments, things, beings, sentient, insentient, everything included? But immediately we are brought down to our state of being, which is completely identified with this body, mind and intellect. Hence, therefore, we sense as though I am this localized entity. The confusion continues. So here he says, have you ever tasted something called wasabi? See, different kinds of spicy things hit you differently. One hits you on the very initial lips, some on the tongue burning, some in the throat, some down in the pit of the stomach. But wasabi has a very unique place to hit. As soon as you taste it, I thought it was like avocado thing. So I took the whole thing, scooped it up and put it in my mouth, swallowed it. It was like smoke coming out of my ears, my eyes, my nose, my mouth. And it hits somewhere here. The spice, in Telugu we use the word Nashanani Gantinantuntam. That is the only thing which I have seen which hits there. It hits the Sahasrara. These shlokas, looking so innocently simple in 4 lines, 32 syllables, are like wasabi. It's like a dose after dose after dose of wasabi. Very potent. And his vocabulary also is unlike Adi Shankaracharyaji's, which makes it simplified. He uses a very poetic order. So he says here, have you read this shloka?
Yes, sir.
We read it, right? ābhārūpasya viśvasya. His way of proving that Atma Chaitanya is not limited by space. Thereby establishing that Atma Chaitanya is all pervasive. So he says, viśvasya ābhārūpasya. Vishwa, this vividhakaratva, the multitude, that which I perceive as this creation. ābhārūpasya. Bha is illumination. The one who brings illumination is called bhaskaraḥ. The one who brings that illumination, karoti. The one who brings that is called Bhaskara. Therefore, sun, another name is Bhaskara. Or Prabhakaraḥ, the one who brings not just specific light, but illumines everything, that which we may consider as good, bad, ugly, indifferent, horrifying, everything is illumined under his illumination, Prabhakara. Bha means to illumine. Abha. Abha means not Bha. Vishwa, what is its nature? It does not have the nature of its own to illumine itself. These are the concepts which are very, very tough to teach, especially Balavihar kids. They come up with such out of the box thinking. You are left, going in circles trying to find how do I answer this kid now. So once when I was explaining about this concept that the world is inert, it doesn't have an illumination of its own. So one kid says, but Swamiji, what about glowworms? Their way of thinking is very different. See, sentient also, when we have included, all of these become a reality to us to interact with only if it is illumined by this conscious principle. Let's take the classic example of early morning chaos in every house, especially when you have children going to school, husband going to school, office, wife also going to office, because a unit of family, hum do, hamare do, and everybody is in a rush. Everybody wants to get out of that door on time. And everybody has their own chores. The usual tussle begins with, where is this? Whatever it be. Car keys, or the tie, or the whatever. And usually there is one person who is smart enough to know where what is. We call that person as the mother. Poor lady is in the kitchen, busy cooking breakfast and lunch. Feed the children, even before feeding, wake them up, get them ready, feed them and pack the lunch as well. And the husband is fretting over, where are these keys? I kept them here, I can't see anything, nothing is there, anything there. There's a tangential dialogue also goes. So this busy mother, right from the kitchen, wherever she is, she says, it is right on that center table. She screams. Wireless message given loud and clear. Where? I can't see it. She quickly flips the paratha. She knows how much time she has. And in that little bit of window, she rushes to the hall and right with her kerchief, that spatula, she points, ye kya hai? What is this? It was there. It is not that she magically put it there. It was there. What happened? This fellow's conscious mind had not pervaded it. He had not recognized it. He must have been searching on the other end, where he assumed having kept it. It may have been moved to the other side, but then not focusing on it, meaning that vastu is not pervaded by that conscious principle. Therefore, though it exists, it is not perceived. If not perceived, do you think for that conscious being it exists or doesn't exist? I am changing the standpoint, so pay attention. For that conscious being, if it has not pervaded that keys, do they exist or do they not exist? It doesn't exist. It shall come to being only if pervaded by my conscious principle. ābhārūpasya viśvasya. This entire creation, this entire prapancha why? Because it is prakarshena prakatita panchamahabhutayah. Why is it called prapancha? Pancha meaning 5 elements. Whether they are apanchikrita or panchikrita, doesn't matter. It comes under the permutation and combination of it. All these are the expression of the panchamahabhutas. Prakarshena, permutations and combinations. Prakatita, vyakta, they manifest. That manifestation is a reality for me to experience only if I am conscious of it. You enter into the house and the thief was already there, but was nicely tucking himself away. You were tired, you put everything aside, you went to sleep. And then you wake up to a different setup of the house. Everything seems to be open, everything seems to be all over, everything seems to be displaced. And those which are important are missing. So how can this be? When you are snoring away to glory, what happened to that prapancha? That entire prapancha is non-existent to that being. It has to be illumined by that conscious principle. Now, if this room were dark, there was no light coming, would you see me? More specifically, you don't have to imagine because you must have experienced. All the ancient temples that we go to, the sanctum sanctorum, the garbhagriha is dark for a purpose, so that nothing else is distracting. When you do the arati, it is only the focused light which is on Bhagwan. That is also localized wherever it is rotating at. These huge lamps are a distraction. So in that dark space, you would not even know that there is a priest because he is also dark in color. Suddenly that fellow moves and you see only the dhoti part moving. You say, oh, acha koi hai. Then you strain your eyes to, acha, there seems to be a form also. But that fellow is not seen. Why? The light was not illumining. If the light is not illumining it, even if it is there, it is non-existent to you. If this is understood, Even the presence of the external light or the absence of it is illumined by who? By this conscious principle. Am I getting across? Unless it is illumined, until it is illumined, that inertness cannot be recognized, because it does not have the svata siddha self-illumining nature. Clear? ābhārūpasya viśvasya. This prapancha is inert by nature. ābhārūpasya viśvasya. bhānaṃ bhāsaṃnidhervinā. bhāsaṃnidhervinā. Sannidhi, the proximity, the closeness. Without the closeness and proximity of something to illuminate, unless that happens, bhānaṃ, their awareness is not possible. This part we have already seen. I am just taking the word meaning. Till when? Kadācit meaning it is never a possibility of something to exist without this illumination. See, they say that the dogs can hear a different range of frequency. Can we hear those? Bats make sounds of a different range of frequency because they cannot properly see. So how do they do? They are mobile sonar devices. So they make a certain vibration or a frequency of sound through which the reflected sound as it comes, it processes it to understand what kind of an obstruction, what kind of a material, including what kind of a texture they are able to perceive. Do those frequencies make any sense to us? They can make sense only if they are illumined by us. Once, I think it was in Mookambika temple, I was with a group of people, had gone for some darshan there, and there is a group of elephants outside. And the tradition is you feed them something, then they lift their trunk, place it on your head, as though Bhagavan Ganesha himself is blessing, and then you go. One of the girls who had been recently married, but 2 or 3 months, 3 months I think, married, the elephant placed the trunk and then very gently wrapped around the waist of that girl. And then it made a sound. The other elephants, specifically the female elephants, they all rushed. Because the Mahot was there and he was saying, don't worry, it may appear chaotic to you, but they are in control. Otherwise it is a scary thing, 4 or 5 elephants rushing to a particular girl who's wrapped around by the trunk. And they all were wrapping around the waist, and they spent some time. They seemed to be gleefully happy. You can see that happiness in their eyes. And then it let go. We all went in. After a week of this yatra done, then that family, both husband and wife, call me and say, Swamiji, you know what? We have a happy news to share. I said, what? She's pregnant. I heard it, but I was scanning through my memory and suddenly this particular incident popped in my head. Probably the elephant already sensed the presence of another jiva in, and it communicated to the other elephants, and even in that the other female elephants were the first one to arrive and smother her with love very delicately. They held around the waist, but very delicately. They recognized it. Unless these people went for a test and at that point they come to realize that the pregnancy has occurred, the jiva has been conceived. Until that test was done, they were not aware of it. Until it is illumined, we do not come to be aware of it. But for those elephants, it was already a part of wisdom. I'll take you to another example. How in space, the time or the illusion of time of past, present, future is quite confusing. Supposing you are two people, you are at the ground level and your friend is at the, say, 10th floor. Right? In front of you there is a black car. So you are communicating with each other through a mobile device. Do you see the black car? I said, yes. Not only the black car, the fellow on the top 10th floor says, I also see a green car coming from your left side. And I say, where? For him, it is in the present moment. For you, it is in the future. And says there is also a yellow cab about 100 feet away. Where? It is going away from you. So that is the past for the fellow who is on the 10th floor. That which is your past, present and future, all of this is cut into one present moment. Am I getting my points? Being at that conscious principle, at that highest state, it is what you become aware of at that particular given moment that it becomes, you choose to make it your present. Look at the whole concept, it completely topples us out. From that seeming height, because there is no height, there is no such spatial difference. From that untouched beyond this, where in the conscious principle, from that standpoint of conscious principle, you choose the moment, and when you become completely aware of it, that is when that becomes your present moment. How can this be a possibility? If not for all of this happening in you, the conscious principle. So when we say, where is this Bhagavan, where is this Atma Chaitanya, where is this Brahma Tattva? That's a wrong question. Where is in that Atma Chaitanya. And we very casually chant this whole concept in our Guru Stotram. Bindunādakalātītaha. Nada and Kala, name and form, merge into one focal point, that is Bindu, and above and beyond that, Atitaha, not influenced by it, is the Atma Chaitanya. Bindunādakalātītaha tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We casually read it. When you read Lalita Sahasranama, I'm sure all of you have studied it, read it. Where does this Lalitambika live? Bindu Mandala Vasin. That gives us a better clarity. Bindu Mandala, that which is expanding from this unique focal point, when it expands, when that consciousness chooses to expand, to recognize, that is when that particular realm expands itself to my awareness. Isn't it? That is when it comes to being. So all this time and space is only a mere point of reference in that consciousness. Again, where does our problem arise in trying to understand this? But how can I be everywhere? Arre Baba, everywhere is in you. If the entire space is supported by that conscious principle and you are that consciousness, everywhere is a concept in the realm of space. So where is everywhere? In the self. Because it is so difficult to grasp this concept, for our tangibility's sake, we have been told various shlokas and padyas, where in Prahlada Charita, in Potana Bhagavatam, he says, when his father asks, where is this fellow Narayana of yours? Where is this Vishnu? So what is his padyam? Indu galadandu ledani sandehamu valadu chakri sarvopagatundu. So when he says, he is everywhere. That everywhere meaning it is in the self, therefore there is no aspect of this projected reality where he exists not. I am trying to bring various reference points so that the grasping becomes easy. Started with Guru Stotram, then went into Lalita Sahasranama, then went into Bhagavatam. All that they are trying to say, all that they are trying to show is that this Vishwa, which is inert by nature, this Prapancha, which is inert by nature, that is coming to reality when my conscious principle as though bathes it in and through. That is when it comes into being for my interaction or experience. Otherwise, it exists not. Therefore, what do we do in our vyavahara? It's purely imaginary. The continuity of everything is based on our memory. When somebody is, leaving and going abroad, very close to you, they're shifting, and they keep assuring you, we'll keep coming every year. And I say, I'm going to miss you. Versus somebody who is in the house, but you end up seeing each other only on the weekends. But our imagination is, they're right here. But you have not experienced. Your conscious principle has not illuminated. Then how am I continuing the continuity? Purely out of my imagination. Whether here or there, that is what we continue to persist with. Even that memory, only when that memory is also illumined by me. So when somebody says, oh Swamiji, I missed you. When and where? Because the life is so busily occupying ourselves with one happening after the other, one happening after the other. It is only when that thought occurs of the other person, other vastu, other thing, that when illumined by me is when I say, oh, wish I had. That is when I say, I miss. So that also is a very unfounded experience wherein it does not have a lot of substantiality to it. The person may be sitting right next to you. Once it happened, I was with, Balavihar kids, usually take them to a, experience of, say, Hanumanji, that cartoon movie or something like that. And through that, teach Vedanta wherever possible. I think that day we were seeing Kung Fu Panda. It has got a lot of subtle, beautiful pointers to note. The kids all were sitting. There was a kid who was sitting 2 seats away from me. When the movie came to an interval, the fellow comes. These are all, less than 5th grade and below. The fellow comes and tucks to my hand and says, missed you, Swamiji. I said, hey, I'm sitting right next to you, man. He says, yeah, but for the last 1 hour, I was busy there. In his innocence, he revealed a very factual statement with such ease. Though you were there right next to me, but because my focus was elsewhere, and now that has broken, my thought again was illumined of you, therefore now I feel that I was missing you, therefore I came to give you a hug. Meaning what? The underlying concept. Even if they are right next to you, if the focus is not there, you are not there. Isn't that what, or isn't that why, when you as parents scolding your children, you know what they do? They are tuning you off. Why? How do you come to realize that? Because they are not looking at you, they are seeing elsewhere. So what is your general common statement when you are scolding them? Look at me when I am talking to you. Meaning what? They have invalidated your presence, you feel it. In that little episode of you giving your peace of mind to your child has eradicated your presence by just shifting the focus. It comes into being only when there is that focus, there is that attention, there is that awareness of it in front of me. So when you are scolding, what is happening? A general awareness of the environment is there. Your words, your intensity is defocused. You are eradicated. You feel the pinch of that eradication. Therefore, pay attention to me. And what is one good way to know they are paying attention? Look at me when I am speaking. It's our experience. We know it. It happens. That is what is being dragged in to be analyzed. Now come from this standpoint to see everything that is happening. How much of validity that we have given into it, that we are tossed by that validation, by my own validation, and I end up saying that I am suffering it because of them. Can it ever happen? Do you suffer Vedanta if you don't even allow to go it inside? Doesn't it happen sometimes that you are sitting, the entire class has passed by, Purnamadaha, then you start scratching. आज क्या बोला है इन्होंने? See, there are group of Yuva Kendra members that are taking these videos to make shorts out of it. So I get messages from them. Swamiji, these Advaita Makaranda lectures, we are finding it difficult to find shots. Those, 60-second clips. I said, why? We are not able to even grasp it. They're like bouncers after bouncers after bouncers. We think we have understood, move to the next 60 seconds. By that time, we don't even know what that earlier 60 seconds was. Completely out of focus, complete confusion. That means I have to give that aware full attention to that which I am giving a reality to for it to be interacted with. That which is happening through this conscious principle to be interacted with the outside. And then I end up saying, I am troubled because of it. How can it trouble you? It is like the child saying, I am scared of the darkness. Why? Because that fellow has a virgin, immaculate imagination, a very productive. I see that there is somebody whose tongue is wagging there. There must be some curtain or something, some shadow moving, and he imagines that as some demon, or must have seen some cartoon, some dog wagging its tail or tongue, and that is zoomed in to show, and he is imagining that, projecting it as, I see something wagging there, something, it must be the tongue. And then you go there, stand there and say, where? You keep standing there, I'll go and come. And that fear factor is something which I have again given validation to for it to come and affect me. All of this is happening in that space for which I have given the validation of it being a reality for that moment, for my experience to occur. Do you see the practicality of understanding this? I am sarvagaḥ not because I am everywhere. I am sarvagaḥ, all pervasive, because everything and everywhere is in me. That very concept of the far and wide spread of this space is purely existing only in that, residing in that conscious principle which is my nature. If this is understood, how can anything which is given a validity of existence because of my conscious principle pervading it threaten my existence when its very existence is borrowed by my conscious principle? Very profound, very powerful thought. Again, even if intellectually understood, there is such liberation from various things that we hang on to, cling on to. It is not affecting us because it has the power. It is because I am clinging on to it, giving validation and power for it to overpower me. You are flagging yourself and then say, I am being flagged. Understand this? Once that is understood, na avakalpeta cāhaṃ tena sarvagaḥ. He says, without that proximity of this consciousness enveloping it and giving it that sense of reality, there cannot be that experience. Therefore, I am all pervasive from the standpoint that it is happening in me by my validation, whether it be time, space, thing, being, environment. All of this happens in me. Now let me take a final example. Dhruva Charitra we have studied. In Dhruva Charitra, Bhagavan appears in front of him. But mere presence of Bhagavan, he is still in his deep meditation, deep tapas. He experiences amazing amount of prashantata and he is cherishing it. So he is not withdrawn from his tapas to see Bhagavan's presence. He is cherishing the prashantata which is the effect of Bhagavan. So he knocks him. He says, hey, I am standing right in front of you. Open your eyes to make this your reality. Because if he doesn't open his eyes and experience, he would not even know that Bhagavan is standing there. Which is exactly what we do in our day-to-day life. This Chaitanya Tattva is because of which everything is functional, and still we keep searching as though it is some distance away. So there is that famous quotation of Puja Gurudev from Meditation and Life. He says, how far is the waking from the dream? That far you are from your reality, from your own awarefulness. Is there a distance? Because distance is a concept enlivened by that conscious principle, happening and supported by that conscious principle that exists and persists only in that consciousness, not beyond it. Mull over it. we will revisit it again tomorrow, because this is a very tough concept, a wasabi dose. We will revisit it tomorrow again. If you have questions, please do ask on this. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate, purnasya purnamadaya purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Today being Janmashtami, happy Janmashtami to all of you, those who arrived late, because I had already wished it before you coming. We have a tradition in Hyderabad wherein we go to Birla Mandir and there we chant all the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So which will be at around 8 o'clock. So I will be going. Please join us so that we can bask in the glory of Bhagavan, because his very purpose was to give this Jnanopadesha. So let us tune ourselves into Bhagavan through Bhagavad Gita.